Ladies and gentlemen, it's me back with another video, but due to YouTube's, what does they call, censoring and quote-unquote safety guidelines, yeah, they're probably gonna censor me at first for saying my actual real name, not my, first, or last name, yeah. Yeah, watch my previous videos to see, I don't know, see what my name is, unless if YouTube decides to be a dick or an asshole, depending on what word you use. We're going back to just like some people for some reason. Let me give you some context of why I'm making this video. And yes, it's my fucking video, and if you don't want to hear it, then skip to the part where I'm supposed to get inside the game, alright? I'm sorry, it's like some people would be rude sometimes, but it's Roblox. It's built parasites, but yeah, let me the context. People for some reason like to watch my old videos and asked for a tutorial. So, I'm gonna give it to them, right? So yeah, just like I said, we're gonna do a tutorial, except for one thing. I'm just gonna do everything that I could think of, especially when you consider the fact that every time you hop into a World War II tank simulator server, it's mostly unpredictable. I mean, I'm in my private server, so there's no total destruction, no scattered blocks or pieces of tanks. So yeah. Oh yeah, as it is, this is a a dream lineup for those, what do they call those again? I can't say it properly because of my jaw being rearranged by my fall again. Verbos or something, German verbos. I can't even say it correctly. It's some, let me describe it in a simple term. People who like German tanks and believe they are better. Yeah, that's, let me just lower this down for a moment. Oh yeah, about the tutorial, in this case we will take the most underrated tank of World War II, and no, I'm not talking about the Stug or the heavier tanks such as the Tigers and Panthers, no. We might as well, I don't know, take the Panzer II. And also, by the way, here's a little thing when you join this game. Every tank doesn't have armor in this game. I mean, we're gonna do some first examples, and this is this is just gonna be a life lesson on how to shoot your tank in this game. But unfortunately, the Panzer II in this game only has a auto cannon, not a cannon. But blah blah blah. I was like, right, yeah, just like that. Like in the game, the Panzer II is able to penetrate anything. Even the Tigers, alright? In fact, everything could also penetrate the Panzer II as well. So yeah, let me just say what tank it is for some extra context. This is the Panzerkampfwagen 2. 20mm autocannon, and that's what I seem to be an MG44 because the MG42 didn't exist during the time it was there until, I don't know, 1942. Sorry for the shaking. Is like slightly a problem, but yeah, Panzer II 20mm autocannon and an MG44 in the other side because the MG42 wasn't produced during that time. But still, all right. So like pretty much, yeah. Okay, this is gonna be a hard one. But in this case, since the Panzer II in this game is the only tank in the German lineup that has an autocannon, we might as well take another tank. Where's that? It's like, okay, they don't have a Panzer III without the... Never mind. Yeah, the only Panzer III in this game is either it's literally the J version, or just Panzerkampfwagen free, and Aspirin J, which is version in German, so it wouldn't be that hard to remember. And yeah, I'm just gonna use this because the Panzer II doesn't even have a cannon in this game aside from the small auto cannon. So yeah, like that's how you shoot things in the Panzer II, because the Panzer II's distinct thing is that it doesn't have a cannon, as I just mentioned a couple of times, and everything else doesn't have any armor. Besides, let me show you why. It's like everything doesn't have armor in this game, right? I'll do it like two more times, and that's like, I don't have time to take all my time. I don't have time to take my journey to the Eastern Front, which is right there. But no, in this point, no, I don't really care that much. Let me just lower my graphics. All right, we will just it's like in history and real life, the Panzer II's autocannon is like outmatched. In this point, I mean, even in real life, I highly doubt though those Panzer II's are able to penetrate everything or penetrate anything at all. Speaking issues because of my rearranged jaw, and yes, yeah, I already shot this beforehand. It's literally called a 2 centimeter cannon, and that like 20 millimeter cannon. Like in real life, this thing is only made for its speed, like a speed, and for some reason, yeah, you're not wrong. In this game, as I'm about to mention, just for another millionth time, no armor on any tanks. Panzer II, no armor. Tiger tanks, no armor. Panther, no armor. T-34s, no armor. IS-2s, or the IS series, no fucking armor. And everything doesn't have any armor. Even the mouse tank doesn't have any armor against high explosive shells. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Okay, I freaking said something wrong. It turns out the mouse tank does have armor, but it's resistant. Its armor's resistant against armor piercing rounds. Oh yeah, by the way, oh yeah, recommendations of a side tip: don't try to use the Panther tanks in this game, because number one, this is like, you might be saying, oh, it's just a small bit of a muzzle. It's like, they could still fire. Motherfricker, this thing is essential for every other vehicle to fire the shells. And let me show you why before I show how to shoot things in this game, besides from the Panzer II that I did earlier. I mean, look at that. Yeah, that muzzle right there is essentially important for every tank in this game, and every anti-tank gun, artillery piece. Yeah, the muzzle is basically important to every vehicle. These guys, the Tigers and the Panzer IV, is like, let's ignore the Panther. This is a Panther D. It's like, or I don't know if it's like Panther A or D. I couldn't tell the difference. I mean, yeah, just like then there's the Airsats Panther, exact same like every coding in this game. Pretty much Tigers, Panzer IVs, this whatever the 88 millimeter or 128 millimeter. I can't tell the difference. Sometimes they look so familiar, besides from the barrel size. I either think this is just a steroid email, or it's just a freaking NAS horn. I don't know anymore. Let's get back to the point. Yeah, before we do the shooting part, the Panthers in this game, their muzzles are practically bugged, and they are just absolutely useless in every sense. I mean, the back of the engines is just like exact same like the Tiger tanks, Panzer IVs, or every other tank, like exposed. Armor piercing or high explosive could penetrate them, since I mentioned there's no armor protection in this game, besides from the mouse tank being semi-armored because it doesn't have an engine, but yet it doesn't survive well. The mouse, like, it doesn't survive well against high explosive rounds in this game, which high explosive rounds are in this game are either like, I don't know, heat rounds. I don't know. So yeah, about the fact, I did the shooting part with the Panzer II because it's the only tank without an actual cannon. And we're taking out a Panzer IIIJ. And yes, I know, not all Panzer IIIs have the armor upgrade or the longer cannon, right? Some have the armor upgrade, some others have the cannon, alright? the longer 50 millimeter cannon, which could apparently. Yeah, I'm just gonna mention another thing. Like some people say the T-34 is like immune to this thing. What the frick? The T-34 was never expected to survive longer. So yeah. So yeah, pretty much I did an armor-piercing rounds in this game, and you might say, oh, like you didn't do anything. Which I'm gonna be honest on the tutorial here. Like I would rarely see people try to use armor-piercing rounds and yet still be able to, hit a shot. But since every tank has no armor, that shot would have killed whoever was driving the tank. And since this is a Churchill tank, by the way, or Churchill crocodile with a flamethrower, then except for the Churchill tank in this game, one slight note: like for some reason, it's the only Allied tank for its commander or for its operator to always shoot the cannon from the cupola, which makes them a vulnerable target. But in this case, yeah, high explosive rounds in this game sounds so much like heat rounds from the modern era. Armor piercing high explosive heat rounds. So yeah, high explosive, blah, demolishes any tank of the kind. And no, it doesn't matter if it's far away. In fact, it's pretty much depending on how you aim your artillery ballistics or something. Like, at this point, I was not gonna go to the Eastern Front, but, it was like high explosive in this game, you say it's pretty OP, right? It is. But the creators had added one thing to counter this. If you remember, this is a tutorial where it's supposed to tell you things, and that's it. Yeah, you expect high explosive to be like this, right? Nope, high explosive needs to be aimed a bit slightly up like that, right? Which is one realistic thing that I actually love the most. My friend literally likes to use high explosive, but he can't really aim that far. Although I can't do that as well, I sometimes just randomly calculate where my shots are hitting. And bingo, we just hit a 76 millimeter artillery gun, or unless if I'm wrong about the caliber or something. But for some reason, it seems like it's serving some kind of Mother Russia invisible force. So yeah, pretty much, yeah. Speaking about high explosive rounds, some people might doubt the fact they'll have an effect if they're like some kind of semi-expert. No armor in this game, right? If somebody forgot that I said that. Look at that smoking T-3485, total destruction. So yeah, high explosive in this game needs to be aimed slightly up, and if you're like in this distance, let's back away a bit. Oh, never mind, we just bumped into a Russian house, although it's not historically accurate, neither detailed, but it's a good throw at it by the creators. But anyways, strangely enough, I think this is just a gun sight of a Tiger tank, or Panther anyway. Unless if I'm wrong, but this almost looks familiar. This reminds me so much about a Tiger tank's gun sight, though. Which, it did have a good sight, but sometimes, they didn't produce them to the quality anyway, so yeah. About longer ranges with a high explosive. Okay, there's an invisible force field from that destroyed T-3485 that's blocking me from getting to the uncamouflage green version. Alright, we might as well have to do it somewhere else. It's like at this range, blah blah blah. I already know. We could just hit it. We'll just back up a hill just to make it more challenging at least. Or never mind, the hill just messes up our freaking accuracy. So yeah, high explosive in this game. You need to aim a bit slightly higher. Yeah. Speak about higher. Oh yeah, by the way, this will exclude some parts such as, gun depression, which you can see this Panzer free just being like this. Okay, there's gotta be some kind of invisible force field. Let's just aim for that T-35, which is a Russian land ship, but it's a good practice target for any tank, even the slowest caliber at this point. So yeah, I was gonna say I was not gonna mention gun depression, but it seems like so sorry my manners, but yeah, gun depression apparently plays a role. Okay, did we even hit anything at this point besides from the artillery gun's barrel and the T-34-85? We did little to no damage. Right, just like we're dealing with tanks here, just to keep in mind, we're doing the armor piercing test and the high explosive ammunition test or something. So at this point, let's get out the obvious. Like I already did with the Panzer II. Like it's pretty much no protection. It's like it's like this. It's not about is auto cannons better than regular cannons in this game? No, it doesn't change the difference. So yeah, the functions are of the armor piercing round, which is load AP, are simply explained by that. All right, no armor, easily able to penetrate any tank, and able to kill players that are operating them. I mean, yes, pretty much yes. Like any player that's operating them, like driving or shooting the gun, they're pretty much dead. There's some main exceptions, though. I lied about the fact, or I didn't mention the fact that the. Hold up. I didn't mention the fact this thing, or the SU 76 millimeter, or SU 76. Both of these tanks, this one right here and this one, SU 76, both of them sometimes are immune to armor piercing rounds. And yeah, it's like, I'm shooting in the front. This self-propelled gun has the engine in front in real life. And it's semi-invincible. Besides against from high explosive rounds, which, yeah. Yep, don't need to explain twice. I mean, most people wouldn't use armor piercing anyway, so yeah, besides, they're mostly in close range combat, so that you wouldn't have to aim that much. So yeah, armor piercing penetrates vehicles of all types, either setting the engine on fire if it makes contact with the in-game engines of vehicles. The engines are either just red blocks. I mean, let's take a look at this example from this T-35 again, which got barely damaged besides from a slight part of its track being, yeah, every vehicle that like has their engine like being a red box. If it gets hit by armor piercing rounds or high explosive or any explosive shrapnel in this game of any caliber that hits the engine like the red box in that T-35, any vehicle pretty much armor piercing, shrapnel, grenades, anything explosive that makes contact with the engine could sometimes literally instantly set the engine on fire. And let me do another example, because even though it was like I did it with the Sharp B and the T-34s, I might as well do it. Okay, BT tank might as well like to take the shot anyway. So yeah, that's the engine. It's on fire and it explodes. Simple for armor piercing or high explosive. In fact, let's target the T-34 for almost, yeah, high explosive. That's the fire, and then kaboom. So yeah, in this game, armor piercing, high explosive, kaboom. That's it. It's like, yeah. If the armor piercing hits engine catch on fire, and pretty much kaboom. If high explosive makes contact with the engine, either directly or indirectly, if with the explosive shrapnel, engine would catch on fire and simply go kaboom, just like armor piercing, except it's like high explosive either has to make contact, and you can't just shoot it next to a tank unless if it's directly in the back. But since nobody's aiming for the engine, as they're aiming for the players that are usually in the center of the tank. Bigger like the examples such as the T-34 Tiger Shermans and was that was a B2 BT-42 or something. Also, strangely enough, though, even though I said this is a World War II tank simulator, there's one tank that is in the wrong era that it's way farther than even anything else that is brought up. The British FV, like this thing right here. I'm just gonna say pretty much, yeah. I know you're obviously like, so you're saying this tank is not in the right timeline of things. Yes, this British self-propelled tank destroyer was made after World War II. But it's meant to counter the IS-3, not a King Tiger or the Yak Tiger. I mean, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, just like it's like you might be saying, oh, what about the A7B that's right in front of there? I know, but since it's nothing out of the ordinary, because an A7B is in World War One, so it's not much of a threat, and doesn't have much to deal with besides from the fact 20 of them were produced. Yeah, simply that it is. Oh yeah, just a note about the tutorial of how to shoot. People are asking how to shoot your weapons in World War II Tank Simulator. Yeah, we did that up where we already did the one with the tanks, armor piercing, and high explosive. High explosive is for artillery purposes. Aim a bit slightly up, and that's it. Blah blah blah. Just like taken out. Oh yeah, this is only for mobile, by the way, since I'm not on a PC, and I don't have a PC basically. So yeah, I mean, pretty much, I like to make it even clearer that I'm not on a PC because pretty much, yeah, people might get confused. Like some people say, or some people would probably say, like, you're lying. That's like that mobile doesn't have that. It's like if I were to record somewhere like full on screen, like using this option. Some people might be easily confused, especially the undereducated or something. But pretty much, yeah, we're teaching about weapons in this game. Sorry for the the slight inconveniences there, but it was like, yeah, pretty much, yeah. Oh wait, why did I say sorry for the slight inconveniences? There were not even. Yep, I'm seriously going insane at this point, because pretty much this is just a recording, testing, like a take number 5, because some people decide to try to sabotage at this point. So yeah, we're pretty much getting on to the part where we're supposed to shoot all the firearms in this game, which, yeah, all of them could be easily found in their respective bases. I mean, in the D-Day slash Normandy, like near the sea, where you're supposed to hop on these landing craft and storm the beaches of Normandy. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, you can find the Thompson, but it's an M1928 model, so with a drum mag, even though the model that the okay, let me just explain this. I have speaking issues, so expect some mistakes to be made. All right. About the Thompson, the M1928 version with a foregrip and the drum mag was not used. The Thompson that saw service was the M1A1 version of the Thompson. Right? Like, understand this guy. They couldn't find any other. They couldn't find any other Thompson besides the M1928 version, which is called the Tommy gun. I know. I just overlook this sometimes because I don't really care that much. Tommy gun is a Tommy gun, alright? I'll just put all of these in like some kind of order, which wait, hold up. Let me just put this like, some calibers are slightly hold up. Okay, that could be some wait, what am I doing? I already got the Thompson, the Garand. What am I doing? Wait, oh, never mind. Alright, about the shooting parts, alright? So yeah, like let me just give you some things to see here. But I need to be close to the ammo boxes. Like, I didn't carry much ammo besides from 2 clips for a Garand and 1 mag for the Luger or PO8. Just like, both the MP44 and the MP40 are, for some reason, taking the exact same ammo from the exact same box, even though the boxes, the magazines are clearly seem like they fit an STG-44 or MP44, which is this thing. Good design on them, but, slightly a bit low quality when you take a look at it. Yeah, it's like, I understand, but seriously. But, at least props to them for actually adding an STG-44, unlike they just left out a bunch of other things. Oh, wait. Ah, schmucks, I left the PPSH-41. No video is ever complete without a PPSH-41. Right, we might as well take this German flak truck, which has a 20mm flak gun on the back. Could be good as serving some kind of clown wagon where you can troll tank players by shooting their engine just so they have to bail out or something. So yeah, PPSH-41 right here. So yeah, I'll point out some noteworthy details and inaccuracies which are most commonly easily identified. Like, where the hell's the PPSH? Alright, let me just point them out. The PO8 Luger in this game doesn't look like the real version. I can't show a picture, but a Luger looks more different than this. It's like, there's nothing wrong with MP40, but no. Okay, it looks like I was meant to pull out a Thompson or a Tommy gun, but, for some reason my finger slipped on the MP40 because I don't know. Yeah, some things are not meant to be easily explained, but this is the M1928 version of the Thompson, not the M1A1 version, which the M1A1 version actually did serve in U.S. forces, but didn't have a foregrip or drum mag. Also, didn't have a long barrel as well. Strangely enough, they just, I understand they probably can't have the time to detail things, but maybe like easily just buy the Thompson from the category and chop off the gosh darn foregrip. Maybe chop off the barrel and just like you make the own category of Thompsons. But the STG-44 apparently is not very detailed, judging by the obvious. Not very detailed. As I know, there's a lot of things, such as the fact this game is not fully detailed, alright? I mean, pretty much, and these German stick grenades, which for some reason almost are the exact same in every single grenade box you can find, always have to be the German stick grenade bundles, which were used against tanks. In this game, they're very funny to use against anything, perhaps. Artillery, pretty much, yeah. Oh yes, it's just like the some inaccuracies of everything being not very detailed in this case. It's quite obvious, but, just like I'm doing some of the weapons, such as Luger's not what it looks like. The M1928 Thompson was modified to the M1A1 version because the unnecessary weight with the massive 100 rounds. I don't know why they got rid of the foregrip. obvious weight because they got rid of the drum, which I could respect that, but maybe just have some recoil reduction. But since it's Thompson, they need to be slightly lighter. As I mentioned, STG is not fully like textured in. So yeah, for some reason, I'm about to explain the ammo types, such as the fact I haven't even pulled out the PPSH really quick. Hold on. The PPSH has the exact same capacity as the M1928 Thompson in this game, despite the fact that it had a 71 capacity drum mag. Later version had like in 1942, the later version had a stick mag, but it shows have 100 rounds on the drum mag. Oh shit. But still, we'll do the tutorial anyway. Alright, we might as well do some reloads, so yeah, I'm just gonna either have to do like since it's mobile, I could just click on that spot and shoot. Alright, reloads are basically nothing, but at least they add the sound of the obvious, iconic Garand M1 Garand ping. And yes, they did rip this off of the category store again, and the site is still missing, and it's obvious. It's really like the way is it? Alright, for some reason I don't know why I just noticed. But I thought I saw something wrong or something. I'm not a good expert on the gun details, just though if I miss something, point it out in the comment section if YouTube decides not to be a dick ass in the butt already. So yeah. Oh yeah, for some reason there's another detail which should be obvious. The MP40 was a burst-fired SMG. But in this case, like every other submachine gun, it's given a reputation of being on automatic fire. So yeah, that's like shooting all the guns, and all these guns have decent damage. Oh yeah, also the sword, if it needs to be mentioned. This thing does good against those players who tend to be like I don't know, just like those players who are so close, but you don't have anything to counter them because they keep spam jumping. So yeah, like good for killing players inside tanks, as well as apparently for some reason small tanks like the T-26 apparently are so small that a player could be stabbed to death in this game through the tank's front armor. Other tanks, as obvious as the T-34 Tiger tanks and like the Shermans, all of those tanks could be easily penetrated by shields, since that even this SU-152 is not immune from this. For some reason, this is just a captured Panther tank, I believe. IS-1, KV-85, KV-1, KV-2. Yeah, it's like if you have a sword in this game and you like to troll around, how about start marking players when they're inside of their vehicles, like believing they're gonna be like some kind of next Michael Vittman or whatever that or whatever the hell the tank here, the tank aces that they want to be anyway. Like, examples are, like just like that get like those people in Fury and fight Michael Vittman and Joe Ekins. I don't know. I just know the name, but never know what he actually did. But I don't know if there are any Soviet aces amongst the tanks, but there could be. It's just that Soviet tanks weren't produced in a higher quality because they were meant to make cheap. In the gosh darn War Department, as apparently like I'm about to add some salt in this. T-34s are meant to be made cheaper. in terms of everything. Armor, gun sight, yeah, cupola as well. Right. But anyways, like, so yeah. What was I supposed to do next? What was I supposed to do next anyway? Alright. Besides from the part of shooting tanks with armor piercing high explosives and showing that the fact that high explosives need to be aimed a bit slightly up. Oh yeah, you might be asking, what about armor piercing? Armor piercing in this game is like pretty much go straight line and that's it, right? Oh yeah, as mentioned as it is, there's other weapons besides these guns. So yeah, this is pretty much me just like, and I understand some Russians are gonna be pissed, or some people who like the Russians are gonna be pissed at the fact that I destroyed like only specifically the Russian tanks. And pretty much, yeah, I understand. I understand the fact people might be pissed off. Which, to be honest, I don't really do much to care. So yeah, pretty much as it is, we're going back to the freaking spawn. As there were some other weapons that I forgot to mention. Besides from the infamous gun types of weapons, which you can read it down here, Garands, STG, like Thompson and MP40 and the PO8 and like the PPSH-41 in the current version of the game. Other weapons that, especially who could forget a Panzerfaust? A freaking Panzerfaust. Well, yeah, it's pretty much, yep, it didn't hit the tank. But does it still drive? Yes, it still does. Right, like about the tutorial thing, alright. Besides from shooting the guns, if you manage to get your hands on a Panzerfaust in this game, and you want to disable a tank from driving, then you shoot the tank or vehicle with a Panzerfaust. Then it's permanently disabled because the Panzerfaust back then was able to knock out vehicles. As it's like tanks. It's like it was made for the purpose of being disposable in one use and could penetrate a lot of armor, especially especially the T-34 again, or the Sherman, or the everything, because like this, like in this game, it disables tanks. In real life, it literally melts armor. Like it's gonna melt the armor at this point with the shape charge. Oh yeah, by the way, this is not also restricted to tanks. Apparently trucks in this game could be disabled by the Panzerfaust. If I go get inside the driver's seat. Yeah, look at that. In this game, yeah, valuable tip. If you want to stop a vehicle dead in its tracks, you might as well get a direct hit on them with a Panzerfaust. Even if it's a truck in this game, it will be disabled. But keep in mind, the Panzerfaust effect of disabling vehicles would have to take about 3 or 2 seconds. Or unless it doesn't happen at all, as if the player of the vehicle, judging from my testing, if the player that's operating the vehicle is still moving, it could possibly sometimes ignore the Panzerfaust's effects. Which means, you try to disable them, they keep moving regardless, they decide to keep moving, and you just freaking realize that it didn't work. So yeah, shooting guns, disabling tanks, oh wait. And yeah, I forgot to mention, the Panzerfaust in this game could still knock out tanks. Okay, just not directly correctly what I expected. Okay, that's much better. Yes, the Panzerfaust could still knock out enemy tanks and their engines easily. Yeah, wow. Wow. Oh my god, take a look at that. That's definitely not what you like to be in at this point. But since it was a captured it's like a captured version of the Panther, so yeah. So yeah, about the other tips, like besides from shooting and the infamously, from shooting the Panzerfaust, there's another weapon that is the early version of a man-portable anti-aircraft, and that's the Fliegerfaust or Flying Fist. Oh yeah, by the way, there's like Panzerfaust. By the way, if some people are asking, Panzerfaust is armored fist, right? Fliegerfaust is flying fist, as those terms, flying fist in German means Fliegerfaust, Panzerfaust in German means like it's like like armored fist. All right. Oh yeah, here's another tip situation. I'm gonna exclude the Normandy D-Day assault thing right there, which, well, the graphics, please. Yeah, I'm gonna exclude that, as rarely anybody even goes there from my perspective. But yeah. Alright, if you're dealing with an annoying plane bug, like this little bugger right here, it's like imagine some players operating around. I'm gonna have to fly this anyway, so yeah. Another key thing, if you're moving on, you're shooting a player. From a grand or a bolt action, it doesn't seem much, but if you try to shoot a player on the move with an automatic weapon, it's just not what the desired effect. But if you're trying to shoot a player with an automatic weapon, don't do that when you're like this. You see these little drops? They are blood in this game. There's blood, and they could easily, like, if you're trying to shoot from behind like this, you're gonna end up hitting yourself. I mean, you see a player right behind you, right there. You would end up hitting yourself. All right, just another tip. All right, let's get back to the plane part. All right, imagine you see a little bugger like this little U.S. dive bomber plane. It doesn't matter what plane it is, but imagine you see a plane bombing around. Then the Fliegerfaust comes in handy, because it would be able to shoot down planes as long as you are able to aim at them, carefully, just like fire the shot before the plane comes, it's like, oh yeah, it's just like, by the way, as I mentioned, there's no armor in this game. The Fliegerfaust would be able to penetrate tanks, trucks, anything, yeah. Even the mouse tank is not immune from this one. As long as you shoot directly where the enemy tanks are, anyway, or the enemy tank crew, or enemy truck crew. As long as you shoot directly where they are. I mean, Panzer IVs in this game always have to require, like, I'm staring at this. This is where the two players could operate their things. I mean, let's take a look at the tank space. Yeah. Pretty comfy. Yeah, pretty comfy. Yeah, pretty much you could just like the Fliegerfaust could penetrate tanks in this game as long as you have to aim directly where the tank crew is. And the Fliegerfaust could randomly sometimes, just like pretty much randomly, like just for some reason it literally just like keeps turning on landmines even though it shouldn't. Which means, it's like you shoot at a landmine with a Fliegerfaust, it could sometimes I don't know, sometimes explode. Oh yeah, about the other thing. Alright, we're gonna have to get into the kamikaze things. Alright, some people would probably say, what does this do? This is a Japanese lunge mine. This thing has some kind of, I don't know, it's a shape charge, I believe. If you touch a vehicle, you click on your screen, and then you go boom! Yeah, pretty much, yeah. You touch a vehicle or person, that's gonna be either blown up. Sometimes the game doesn't register the fact that you blew up the person, and sometimes you would only able to blow yourself up in an instant. So yeah, this thing right here, lunge mine, yeah, good for a suicide weapon in this game. Yeah, it's able to activate the engines of vehicles, specifically tanks or most commonly tanks in this game of any type. It won't be able to sometimes set engines on fire unless if you like force yourself to touch the back of the tank, which most of the engines are, just so you can get that fiery explosion of extra. Which let me get this. Or we might as well destroy some of the German tanks to even some of it. Oh crap! Yeah. If you touch an engine in this game, there's a random chance that it would be like that. Just randomly blown up. What is that? Is that? This is literally a clean, chopped off Tiger One turret. What happened to the King Tiger's turret? What happened to that turret? So confused. Like, did the game just forgot the fact that damage modules are meant to be somewhat different? Strange. I mean, where did the King Tiger's turret go? Yep. Yeah, for some reason, just like sometimes I either have an obsession with this, but whenever this happens, I feel like, damn, I just did a good thing of sending this freshly cut turret. I don't know if it's some kind of obsession thing, but yeah, these like I don't know. I'm thinking that I'm just way too crazy at this point. Yeah, I don't even know, but it's like pretty much it. Strangely enough, this thing of a clean chopped off turret often randomly happens for me. Yeah, for some reason. Right. So yeah, that's how you use the lunge mine, the in-game guns. Do not try to walk when shooting your guns or your Fliegerfaust, because like a random choice, like it's like shoot the like. Keep in mind just like this. I mean, the major exception is like the Garand, I believe. I mean, yeah, but apparently for some reason in this game, the automatic weapons are apparently for some reason sometimes hazardous anyway. So yeah, pretty much that's it. All right, if I missed something, please tell me in the comments down below. And at this point, this is pretty much yeah. So yeah, that's the end of the tutorial. Unless if I forgot something mentioned, like just tell me. All right, tell me in the comment section. And it's like pretty much yeah. That's it. Make sure to like and subscribe for whatever shenanigans I just did there. Wait, we might as well do one last single thing. Yeah, there's one last thing I forgot to mention in this game. This little thing. This is a bomb, suicide bomb in this game. That's it. I forgot to mention this thing. That was a Japanese suicide bomb. If you click it, there's no way to cancel it besides resetting or letting yourself explode. That's the end of that. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.